Okay, thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everybody who has spoken this evening. And Allison, I don't have any questions. So this is something that I've been involved with for a long time. But I first want to talk about my colleagues who brought this idea forward. One of the things about being elected, it's such an honor. You have ideas, you want to deliver on those ideas, you get in office, and quite frankly, you find out which ideas work, which ideas don't work, and which ideas might be really kind of awful. And I gotta tell you, my first year, we had a city manager who would just kind of smack me aside the head if I had a really bad idea. So I appreciate the concern about the roundabout, and I appreciate this, council members looking into it. But there is nothing that I can support about making this mid-contract change. There is not, as many of you pointed out, there is no valid reason for it, and as the city of Scottsdale has never stopped a contract midway through, specifically without a reason. So I do want to go through a few of my concerns because we have heard from both sides, and that's important for our residents to understand. Let's first of all just talk about that $31 million, because I was surprised that that became kind of a question. Are we going to forfeit $31 million? So when this contract was approved, our staff worked diligently to apply for and get a federal grant. These are competitive. That was incredible, and I want to say that the people involved are no longer with the city, but we were awarded the grant. When the interim city manager went to ADOT, went to MAG, the Maricopa Association of Governments, to find out if we, the city of Scottsdale, could make this change, we received a letter from ADOT that states, if Scottsdale chooses to proceed with this major change of scope, Scottsdale will forfeit and pay back all federal funds in the total amount of $31,132,929. ADOT also confirmed that once funding was withdrawn, and I'm quoting, it would need to be obligated on another project. In other words, it'll go outside of Scottsdale. We also confirmed that there are no guarantees on regional dollars either. Per the interim city manager memo, the construction work will continue throughout the year using local budget appropriation without regional reimbursement. Folks, that's our money, and that money's not just sitting in a pot. It's dedicated to other projects, including the sidewalk, which has often been discussed. Reimbursement, so we will use local dollars. I lost my spot. With regional reimbursement, without regional reimbursement until a MAG, Maricopa Association of Government, request is submitted in October and a positive outcome is achieved. I need to stress, only if a positive outcome is achieved. What that states is there's no guarantee. So what are the costs? We've talked now extensively about the $31 million, but when you change a contract, whether you're remodeling your kitchen or doing a 2-mile stretch of a major road in the city of Scottsdale, you don't get out of that for free. There are costs. Let's talk about some of those. There are change order penalties. The contract states, with any deduct change order, assume minus 20% and additive plus 20%. Let me translate that for you. There is a penalty for change orders of elements removed or added. So if the roundabout costs $3.7 million and the signal costs $3.7 million, we're looking at $1.5 million just in fines. There's additional land acquisition. One of the speakers spoke about this being planned since 2017 by civil engineers, I might add. I'm an engineer as well, but I'm not qualified to design a 2-mile stretch of roadway. The people that made this decision and worked with contractors were. The land that was acquired from private citizens to accommodate a roundabout, that will have to change. We will still have the land, we will still have paid for it, but we will need to acquire additional land to accommodate a traffic light. That's an additional cost. There are design changes, utility changes, material costs. One of the benefits promoted was that we could pay lower wages if we don't have a federal grant. So when a city accepts a federal grant, we agree to pay basically fair wages. All bets are off if you don't have federal dollars. So I personally don't like that, but let's think about what we would have to do. We've already agreed to pay those wages. We're not going to get that money back. Our contractor isn't going to go to the subcontractors and the people working and say, will you take less money? That's just not reasonable, and it's not right. So that is not a savings. You know, the thing I love about city governments, and anybody who's ever heard me speak, I love city governments. We actually work. We're close to the people, we are your neighbors, and we're accountable. And I have heard from so many reporters over the years of how transparent and honest Scottsdale is as a government. It is the norm for a city to plan for the worst case scenario and work diligently to deliver the best case. But that's not what we're doing here. I asked our interim city manager, where's the worst case scenario and what happens there? What happens then? I'm going to read a quote from his response. The city will need to evaluate steps moving forward. This could involve project cancellations or stopping this project. It's under construction, folks. Or stopping this project where it is and canceling future work. Is that acceptable to anybody in this room? It's not acceptable to me. And as was mentioned, the delays are also unacceptable. You know, just today, I was driving, and there was a major T-bone crash in an intersection. And as former Councilwoman Betty Janik loved your statistics and your data, as she pointed out, we're third in the nation for intersection collisions. So nobody up here on this dais is qualified to tell you if an intersection will be safer this way or that way. We're just not. We're elected to listen to the experts and take their guidance and review the data and make decisions. And that's what this council did last September when we approved this roundabout. And let me tell you, roundabouts weren't a political football until this year. Since 1986, city councils just like this one, filled with people that love to debate on issues, have approved roundabouts. There was no discussion. Public safety isn't an item that we go out and do polling on. Public safety is our job. And that's the decision that led us to approve a contract last September. So I don't think I'm going to review all the safety. The speakers did such a good job. And I get it, fender benders are a problem. And, you know, kind of messes up your car, especially if it's new. But there's nothing like traumatic head injuries, death of a family member, and that's what we're eliminating. We're eliminating T-bones, we're eliminating the red light runners. And one of the gentlemen spoke about our older population being nervous about speed. No kidding, I have a neighbor who won't even drive on the highway. That's precisely what we're doing here. We're reducing the speed so that people can navigate this intersection. And there was a talk about this being a 50-mile-an-hour road. Yes, it is, but guess what? You have to slam on the brakes to get to that red light, too. So why not just slow down and make the whole experience a little nicer and not sit there in congestion waiting for the traffic light to change? You know, finally, I want to talk about the one point that my colleagues had on this that I thought had merit. And they said, because I had spoken to some of them about the idea of roundabouts, and the notion was that people don't like roundabouts. I mean, that isn't how we make our decisions, but I think that might have been true in 1986, although I don't know of any fuss back then. But that's not true anymore. What surprised me most about this whole effort was that overwhelmingly, we received so many emails, at least half or more than half, of people demanding this roundabout because it does make their lives better. It keeps traffic moving, it reduces the aggravation and the bad driving that Copper Phillips described, and it protects their loved ones. So that was the one point I was surprised the most about. And finally, I want to talk about our staff. Our staff has spent, since 2017, doing the analysis and coming up with this, winning that federal grant, doing a tremendous amount of work. And I think it has been irresponsible of this council, after getting that initial data and finding out this is actually a terrible idea, to have had our staff work so hard. And I want everybody to know they didn't get paid overtime, but I guarantee you our staff has been working overtime. So I want to especially thank our staff for trying so hard to turn, frankly, a bad idea to be the best it can be. But I adamantly oppose doing this to our city, to our residents, to our financial security. And I hope that my council colleagues will join me and just get this one moving forward. Let's wrap this up. Let's not drag it on another year. And then if we want to have work study sessions and talk about roundabouts, I'm all in. Just roundabouts moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman McCallan.